China stands at a pivotal moment in its economic journey, a crossroads that will determine its future trajectory. The nation's economic engine, once fueled by cheap exports and massive infrastructure projects, is sputtering. The rapid industrial growth that propelled China to the forefront of the global economy is now facing significant challenges. Growth has slowed, and concerns about over-reliance on manufacturing and investment loom large. Factories that once buzzed with activity are now eerily quiet, and the once booming construction sector is seeing a slowdown. The solution, according to Beijing, unleash the spending power of 1.4 billion consumers. The government is looking to shift the economic focus from heavy industry to consumer spending. China is embarking on an ambitious, multi-trillion-dollar campaign to transform its economy, shifting from a focus on production to one driven by consumption. This transformation aims to create a more sustainable and balanced economic model. This is not just about tweaking economic policy, it's about reshaping Chinese society itself. The government is encouraging a shift in mindset, from saving to spending, from producing to consuming. This endeavor carries enormous stakes, not just for China but for the world. The global economy is intricately linked to China's economic health, and any significant changes will ripple across international markets. Can Beijing successfully engineer this economic metamorphosis? The challenges are immense and the stakes are high. Policymakers are under pressure to deliver results without causing economic instability. Will Chinese consumers embrace their new role as drivers of growth? The success of this strategy hinges on the willingness of the Chinese people to adopt new spending habits and support the domestic economy. The answers to these questions will have profound implications for the global economy in the decades to come. As China navigates this critical juncture, the world watches closely, aware that the outcome will shape the future of international economic dynamics. For decades, China's economic miracle has been built on a simple formula: produce goods cheaply and export them to the world. This strategy has been the backbone of China's rapid industrialization and economic expansion. This model fueled unprecedented growth, lifting millions out of poverty and transforming China into a global economic powerhouse. Cities like Beijing and Shanghai became symbols of this transformation, with their skylines filled with towering skyscrapers and bustling markets. However, this export-dependent model has its limits. The global financial crisis of 2008 exposed the vulnerability of relying on volatile foreign markets. Factories that once thrived faced closures, and the stock market experienced significant downturns, highlighting the fragility of this economic approach. Furthermore, wages in China have been steadily rising, making its exports less competitive. As labor costs increase, the advantage of producing goods cheaply diminishes, prompting businesses to seek more cost-effective locations or to invest in automation and high-tech manufacturing. To sustain its economic progress, China needs to find new sources of growth. The focus is shifting from an export-driven economy to one that is more balanced and sustainable, with an emphasis on domestic consumption and innovation. Domestic consumption is the obvious answer. Encouraging citizens to spend more within the country can stimulate economic activity and reduce reliance on foreign markets. This shift can lead to a more resilient economy, less susceptible to global economic fluctuations. By encouraging its citizens to spend more, China aims to reduce its dependence on exports and create a more balanced and sustainable economy. The rise of e-commerce platforms and the growing middle class are pivotal in driving this change, as more people have disposable income to spend on goods and services. This will require a fundamental shift in mindset, both for policymakers and for ordinary Chinese citizens. Policymakers need to implement supportive measures such as improving social safety nets and providing incentives for consumer spending, while citizens need to embrace a culture of consumption and investment in their own economy. To unleash the spending power of its people, China is deploying a range of policy tools. These measures are designed to stimulate economic growth and ensure that the benefits of prosperity are widely shared among its citizens. Interest rate cuts are making it cheaper to borrow money, encouraging both individuals and businesses to take out loans for various purposes, from buying homes to expanding enterprises. Meanwhile, tax breaks are putting more cash in people's pockets. These tax incentives are aimed at increasing disposable income, allowing families to spend more on goods and services, thereby driving demand in the economy. Infrastructure projects, from high-speed rail lines to 5G networks, are creating jobs and stimulating economic activity. These projects not only provide immediate employment opportunities, but also lay the foundation for long-term economic growth by improving connectivity and technological capabilities. The government is also investing heavily in e-commerce and digital payment systems, making it easier for people to spend their money. By enhancing the digital infrastructure, China is ensuring that its citizens can participate in the modern economy with ease and convenience. Perhaps the most significant initiative is the promotion of China's digital currency, the e-yuan. This digital currency is not just a technological innovation, but a strategic move to modernize the financial system. This digital currency aims to revolutionize how people transact, offering greater convenience and government control over financial flows. It is expected to enhance financial inclusion, making it easier for people in remote areas to access financial services. By encouraging the use of the e-yuan, China hopes to boost consumer spending and reduce reliance on traditional banking systems. This move is seen as a way to future-proof the economy, ensuring that it remains resilient and adaptable in the face of global financial changes. Transforming China into a consumption-driven economy is not just about economic policy, it's about shaping social behavior. Traditionally, Chinese households have maintained high savings rates, partly due to a lack of social safety nets and concerns about future economic uncertainty. To boost spending, the government is working to strengthen the social safety net, expanding access to healthcare, education, and pensions. The goal is to alleviate anxieties about the future and encourage people to feel more confident about spending their hard-earned money. This is a long-term project that requires not only policy changes, but also a shift in cultural norms. The government is using a variety of channels, including state media and educational campaigns, to promote the virtues of consumption. The early results of China's efforts to boost consumption are mixed. While consumer spending has increased in recent years, it still lags behind levels seen in developed economies. However, there are signs that a consumer culture is taking root in China. E-commerce platforms like Alibaba and JD.com have witnessed explosive growth, with hundreds of millions of Chinese consumers embracing online shopping. The rise of a new generation of Chinese consumers, more affluent and globally connected than their parents, is also driving this trend. This new generation is more willing to spend on experiences, travel, and luxury goods. As China's middle class continues to expand, its impact on global consumption patterns will be impossible to ignore. The shift towards consumption is already reshaping the Chinese economy. Manufacturing, once the dominant sector, is gradually giving way to services. Shopping malls, restaurants, and entertainment venues are sprouting up in cities across the country. This structural transformation is creating new opportunities for businesses and entrepreneurs, while also posing challenges for workers in traditional industries. The government is acutely aware of the need to manage this transition smoothly, providing retraining programs and support for workers displaced by automation and the decline of manufacturing. The success of China's economic transformation hinges not only on boosting consumption, but also on ensuring that the benefits of growth are widely shared. China's push for domestic consumption has significant implications for the global economy. As China relies less on exports for growth, it could lead to a decline in demand for raw materials and manufactured goods from other countries. This could have a ripple effect on economies that have come to depend on Chinese demand. However, China's growing middle class also presents enormous opportunities for businesses around the world. As Chinese consumers demand more high-quality goods and services, it could create new markets for everything from luxury cars to high-end tourism. The challenge for businesses is to understand the evolving tastes and preferences of Chinese consumers and tailor their products and services accordingly. China's journey towards a consumption-driven economy is fraught with challenges. One of the biggest is the country's growing debt burden. Years of heavy investment in infrastructure and other projects have left China with a mountain of debt. This could limit the government's ability to stimulate the economy in the future. Another challenge is inequality. While China's economic rise has lifted millions out of poverty, it has also led to a widening gap between rich and poor. If a significant portion of the population is unable to participate in the consumer economy, it could undermine the sustainability of China's growth model. Addressing these challenges will require careful policymaking, structural reforms, and a commitment to equitable growth. China's attempt to rebalance its economy is a gamble of historic proportions. The stakes are high, not just for China but for the global economy. If successful, it could usher in a new era of sustainable growth and prosperity for China, while also reshaping global trade patterns. However, failure to navigate the challenges ahead could lead to economic stagnation, social unrest, and geopolitical instability. The world is watching closely as China embarks on this ambitious economic experiment. The outcome will have profound implications for all of us.